I like to go ahead and have the dog understand leash pressure and be certain that we're on the same page insofar as leash pressure goes. That alleviates a lot of conflict in the training down the road. He's not done anything um, with the pinch collar on, so let's get into doing a little bit of leash pressure work here. I'm going to use a clicker, my standard tool. We're going to use a few cheese bits. It seems to be about a medium type of a reward for him as far as food goes. So I'm going to use cheese here. And the key to when we're working with leash pressure, the real key is to really click on time and to click in the right spot. So I'm going to get cranked up here. I'm going to try to make it where you can hear the click and when it happens. He's wanting to put his head down, so we're going to keep it up high. It's a good opportunity to go ahead and troubleshoot there. If you noticed, he wanted to put his head down in response to having the collar on his neck. So what I did to correct that was, he did it 2 or 3 times, so I was pretty sure he was going to do it again. So what I did to fix that was I relieved the leash pressure. Which will control the opposition reflex. And so we got his head up now. So we'll keep his head up. Again, let it slack in. We're going to give him a go. There we go. Click. He's wanting to put his head down in response for whatever reason, so we're going to work on getting the head up before we do anything in response to leash pressure. There we go. Good boy. We don't have to sit here and do this a lot. We just have to make the timing correct when we do it. I want his head up. Let's give him a little bump with the collar now. As you can see now, we got his head up. I'm not going to correct him for putting his head down, because what I want him to do is figure out that we want the head up. I'm not going to correct him for that, so we're just going to use patience here. I'm going to get a little more duration in there. I'm going to fade the reward this time. Good. Yes. Yes. Good boy. Okay, he's starting to feel more comfortable with his head in the air. So I'm going to get back out the reward. Now we're just using the slightest of pressure. He now understands what we want him to do by tapping the leash. Good boy. Yeah. Fade the reward again. He's pushing for the reward, but we're not going to give it to him. Little pull. Yeah. That's it, boy. That's it, boy. He's figuring it out right on his own, and that's what we want him to do. We always want our dog to try to figure this stuff out on his own, without us guiding him and pulling him around or correcting him. Let's use the operant type of mode rather than the constant correction mode, because when you're constantly correcting a dog, especially a young pup like this, what happens is over time and over repetitions of corrections, his drive will drop. His motivation will drop, and he becomes more difficult to train. That creates more frustration for us, the trainers, and so we can avoid that by working in operant mode, allowing the dog to find it himself. As I'm sitting here talking with you, he's actually bumping into me and engaging me in a way, trying to get me to respond. So that's what we want. We want the dog engaging us in a way that enables us to communicate with them. In just a short few minutes, we've gotten him to where he understands leash pressure. Let me get in the camera view here, and we're going to give him just a little tap. Good boy. He already understands that a light tap means to move, and when slack comes into the line, unless we're moving, to stop. And this is a real fundamental skill that we need to teach the dog. This will really help us in our training going forward, and it allows us to use a leash as a way of communicating with the dog rather than just strictly as a way of correcting the dog or as a way of creating leash pressure. I'm real big on maintaining a loose leash, although a lot of working dog trainers disagree with that. I don't want the dog conditioned to constant leash pressure, or his interpretation of leash pressure means that, oh, we have to attack or we have to do this or that because of leash pressure. So by creating clarity in leash pressure, we can alleviate a lot of miscommunication problems that we're having with the dog. With this one here at the place he's at, it didn't take him long. Of course, we'll have to go on and refine that, and I will. And I'll try to get some more videos as we work that way and refining it to the point where you can literally use 2 fingers. And of course, ultimately the goal being not to have the leash at all. But there are instances where we have to put a leash on our dog in public, in certain areas, and so on and so forth. So we want our dog to be, to have clarity when he knows when we put the leash on him. We want him to have clarity as to the way that we want him to perform on the leash. And also,